So, hey, what's up, guys? It's a 6:40 slate. Hope you guys recognize that. I thought about this slate a lot about what to do with the pitching, and this is going to be very anti-Sheets. I'm really kind of going by feel with my pitchers. My bigger buying, like I'm in my in the MME, I'm building, I'm scripting, I'm screwing around. I got all kinds of ridiculous stuff, right?
Mhm.
But in my hand built, I really thought about the pitching a lot, and I just went with the two guys that I felt the most comfortable with. You know what I mean? Like it's um they all look very similar projection rise. I can make case for all of them, but in the end, to be honest, the Manoah thing just kind of scared me against the Yankees. The Bundy thing kind of scared me a little bit. Not that much, but it scared me a little bit. I actually went with a little chalk. I in the end I went with Patino, and I did go with Alex Wood. I just felt as though I felt most comfortable with him against kind of a depleted San Diego lineup. And that could be wrong. I mean, the one thing I might have done differently, and I still could, I might move Wood to Bundy, but I'm pretty confident that Patino is one of the two pitchers. I just felt more comfortable with him than Manoah. And that doesn't mean that I can't play Manoah also, right? As you know. But I think that was my start was to start with Patino. Where and then I'll talk about my hitting in a minute. But where are you at pitching wise?
It's still pretty much the same for me. Patino, Bundy with a little Manoah.
Okay.
But I did sort of narrow it down, and I'm not playing enough lineups. Like I told you, we have we talk about this a lot. Like we want to talk about being more instructional site and all that, and I agree with this. I really want to do that more, and part of that for me is trying to acknowledge like that my edge in some way is going to be much harder to realize in these very, very early season situations. Anything I'm picking up on or any trends I can start, I need some information. Like, it's basically like, hitters come back as totally different people after off season.
Right.
So
Right.
We're sort of going on what we know. We're doing our best we can, but I'm going to narrow my range down. And in doing that, I'm not going to have the luxury. So you're not going to hear me saying, oh, I'm playing a million guys, probably at least not for a couple of weeks.
Right.
Or at least maybe another week or so I'll give it or something like that. But I'm trying to do that. So I really did just, I could see if I was playing more lineups, maybe throwing Suarez in. I could see throwing basically almost anybody in, to be honest with you, with the way that the pitching is so far this season. But I could see making a good argument for Inoa. I think he would be the next one probably for me.
That's interesting.
Because I think that like against this Washington team, there is upside. Like they've got a couple of really, really, really good hitters, obviously. But I think Inoa's got good enough stuff to beat up on this team that we were targeting everybody against with Washington last year. I think if I was playing 150, I would certainly have, 3 or 4, maybe more Taijuan Walker lineups, or take a shot with Tyon or Eliza Hernandez. I probably would skip, and I would consider Lorenzen, and then I would wonder why I was considering Lorenzen. I guess you could make, those are pretty much most of the guys, but I don't think anybody else is especially exciting. Was that Sheets?
Sorry.
No, go ahead. I'm just saying, I don't think
give me a second.
All right, take your time. Yeah. I don't think there's a big edge to be gained in general with pitchers. The only thing the exception is, like everybody else could easily end up like around 14 fantasy points tonight. And there's an outside chance at least that a guy like Manoah could put up like a 30-point game. Now there's a different type of outside chance with that happening with Alex Wood, but it would just take like the game of his life. Manoah has to do basically what he's going to do all year and just get, be able to be extended long enough, which is, it could be 75 or 80 pitches. I just don't think it's going to happen against the Yankee team. So I think Patino and Bundy are where I'm starting with Manoah. I don't mind if you want to stack the other side of the Bundy thing. I wouldn't do it against Patino in that bullpen. But if you wanted to take the contrarian stack and go play Seattle like Sheets alluded to earlier, I think that's a good idea. Sheets, what are you getting to? Let's transition over to stacks. What are you getting mostly? Because I came I'm very high on the one you mentioned as my secondary stack all over the place.
Yeah. So this is what I'm doing with that. And again, true transparency. So just so everybody knows, I upped in my projections. I ran stuff through SaberSim, and I'm doing 30 lineups in MME, 15 a little kind of standard, and 15 just kind of cuckoo banana stuff. And for my for my main lineup, I am going with my analysis earlier, and I am playing San Francisco. And I'm also playing a little bit of Seattle in that. So
Yep.
my main lineup, if I don't use Bundy, is going to be San Fran with a little Seattle. If I do use Bundy, it's going to be San Fran with probably a couple of with other guys. But San Francisco is my main stack in my main in my main buy.
I love that. I think it's tremendous. Like I really think that we've a lot of the reasons you said earlier, and I started realizing that over the last few years, the team that I probably make the most money off of is San Francisco. I don't play them that often, and when I do, they've definitely let me down. But the times they get you, nobody's got them. You know what I mean? They just are so much lower owned than these other guys. Especially the way I use them, which is usually a 3-man or a 4-man stack,
right?
Because if they go all the way. So that's what I'm trying to do with them. And I do have them full, with another full stack as a 3-man, and I have some 5-2-1s with them. But I'm basically including players from them on every lineup. Atlanta's still my number one stack, but I can get different by playing those guys. And you can get different enough playing Atlanta because they take up all the outfield positions. So you can play Dansby Swanson at a price he probably shouldn't be batting 7th at shortstop or something. You know what I mean? There's just ways you can get different within the stack while doing the San Francisco. And then I still like my idea with the Angels and Miami. So I have a little bit of the 2 and 3-mans from the Angels. The Miami one I like more as an idea than I've actually been able to plug it in yet, but it's something that I'm still considering doing because I have some guys who don't start till later, so I'm gonna maybe consider them as a pivot over there.
I have another take. Well, take whatever, and it's based on something you said in our early pod, whatever you want to call it, where I was talking about Seattle, and I brought up the 2K Julio Rodriguez or Gomez, whatever, and you said, yeah, he's going to be the one guy for Seattle that could be owned. I think I recommend playing Seattle without him. That would be like max leverage. You know what I mean? Like you go against Bundy, and you don't eat you don't eat the chalk, and you really get different. And that's what I would probably recommend there.
He's basically the best prospect in baseball. just to give people a heads up for who he is. He's one of the top people in baseball. So he is going to be owned more than people even project him to be owned. So whatever you think it is, especially in higher dollar buy-ins, smaller field, single entry, he's going to be pretty significantly owned, considering the fact that, you've got a guy who's batting 8th. Well, he might be the best hitter. He's going to get less at bats more often. I love the idea of playing them without him. I think I probably would end up somehow squeezing him in but you don't really need the savings. That's the thing.
Right.
But I agree with you about that. Maybe that would be more the approach I would take on the $15, the big one. But maybe in a single entry, I would include him because I think the stack will be low enough owned where you don't need to worry about that in a single entry, in my opinion.
Speaking of what you call it, prospects or whatever, remember what's his name came up a couple of things. First of all, that other guy from Seattle, I would look for a bounce back year from him. His name Kalanick.
You're thinking of Seattle, or he's not playing.
No, I know that. He's not playing today, right? But the reason why I remember Kalanick is he's the one guy that didn't work out. And one thing that Bobby mentioned last year, which is, I think this is pretty big, is that these can't miss prospects. They usually don't miss.
Yep.
I mean, you should just play them. I mean, but if they're already getting up to the majors, you know what I mean, like that. These guys usually deliver, and it's kind of weird to say in baseball. For all we say about variants and stuff like that, but you get guys like this at 2K. You're probably just supposed to play them in general.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. And before we have to pay, before we have to do what we're doing with Wander Franco and playing him as chalk at 5,300,
right.
Which I love. And he's great. I mean, he's another one of the can't miss guys who hit, because anybody who plays competitive baseball, which I don't, but I play with people who are competitive and good, and they're mostly like my cousins and stuff. And these are top level high school kids, and their friends were drafted in the first round and stuff like that. These guys, they're so well informed that they're just so good by the time to get to that level. And it's pretty true with the NBA guys to some extent as well. These top level guys really don't miss that much. It's almost it's incredible, because when I was growing up in baseball, it was like taking a chance and stuff, and the draft wasn't a big deal. Now it's like No, you better get these kids right, and because those picks are going to be worth something. These guys are always basically end up getting there. So I agree with you about Kelenic. I agree with you about, I think that you didn't say Kirilloff, but I think look out for Kirilloff this year a little bit. Go back to some guys who, look, this is an easy night where everybody's going to play Gary Sanchez at 20 because he's 2,800. Believe in Gary Sanchez in the future just because he had a couple terrible up and down seasons with the Yankees. You still bet on guys like that for DFS. But overall, the main point, I guess, is just that these guys always get there. I mean, look at the Soto class from a few years ago. They're all the best players in baseball: Soto, Acuna, Tatis. They just never miss.
And Vlad when he.
Yeah, Vlad was in that one too. I mean, geez, that might be the all-timer. That's right. Can you imagine an NBA where you have your 4 of your top 6 hitters coming in one class, or 4 of your 6 players?
Right.
I'm gonna say what's up to everybody in the chat, and let's see. Rody says he likes Seattle. James is not like a fan of the Giants for benching Helio after his awesome debut. And you know what, James? I'm always here for the Giants hate, so I'm good with it. I'm okay to hate them as a team.
Who's Helio?
The pitcher.
Okay.
Let's see. The day Julio goes off. I think that's what he meant, though. I think I know who he's talking about, but I don't. Not 100% sure with every name. Baseball's a tough one, man. Trying to get all the names down. There's some guys who and they also some of the guys sound like they're the old guys' names, and I can't remember.
I didn't play Patino in his first 5 starts because I didn't have an accent in his projection. I didn't even have him. I didn't even have my list.
Right.
There's Patino. It's rough out there with the Latin American names. It's tough. It's tough.
Yeah. And we got K9. K9 says he likes that the what's it called, pitching situation.
Minnesota.
I'm sorry, the hitting situation in Minnesota. But I think he likes it especially because if you look at their prices on FanDuel, they're a lot easier to get in. What's weird is that they're not projecting for that much ownership. I don't think I like we can go through this same debate over and over again. On a full slate, it's usually a pretty bad idea to try to get a full stack against Flexen. He doesn't really get damaged enough for me, and he gets treated in the industry like he does. And I'm like, there's a somewhat of a reason why his price is where it is. He's just was simply better than everybody else gives him credit for. And yeah, you could say, oh, he's coming regression, it's going to come back, all this stuff. I don't necessarily believe that with him, and I'm sort of stuck in between on Taijuan Walker, which is what's getting me off of Philadelphia. I still believe that people are all going to play more Philadelphia than it's projecting. I know I said I would get a stack of them before if they didn't play them, but I don't know. This ownership projections on the 2 sites I'm looking at right now are a little surprising to me, and they're definitely very different from each other. So I'm trying to figure out what I actually think is the case. I think people do end up playing Philadelphia, especially on FanDuel, and I think they end up playing more Minnesota than they're projected, but still not that much. And I'm a little bit less high on the Tampa Bay stack, although I do like it. But I like it a lot less because Arozarena is not in the lineup.
Right.
And I like it more as a mini stack now, like maybe just playing a Franco and Brandon Lowe as a pivot off of Albies. So I have just to give away another just quick thing about what I do with baseball stacks. So I have a 5-man Atlanta stack at the moment. And usually this is a bad idea. So maybe it's playing with a little too much fire. I can decide that later. It's a big tournament. But I use my Atlanta stack to play that. I played that one without Brandon Lowe. I'm sorry, without Ozzie Albies, and playing with Brandon Lowe instead, at second base. And I have my mini stacks for Atlanta on DraftKings. Albies is in all of those. On FanDuel, Albies is in all of my everything with Atlanta. But I do like to do that sometimes, to maybe take one of the best players out, use the chalky stack, and then play your favorite pivot off that guy if they only have one position eligible. It's even a better play to make. Does that make sense, Sheets?
Yep. I think this is an easy one, Green Monster. So Giants or Braves stack on DraftKings. Again, forgetting about how many lineups, whatever it is. I think if you're playing chalky pitchers, you play the Giants. I think if you get different in other spots, I think you play the Braves. I think that's my take on that.
Yeah, I think the Braves score more runs than the Giants most of the time here. But when you factor in ownership, first of all, you don't need to. You can also use them as a secondary stack, which I think is very viable. Which is what I'm doing because I'm still playing some Atlanta stacks, but I'm using the Giants as my 3-man.
Okay.
And I just don't think they're going to be owned enough outside of guys like Darren Ruff, who I'm very okay not playing Darren Ruff at 2,900. There's plenty of other options. I would like to play the Peterson, Belt, Yastrzemski, get the lefties in there, and take some shots against Nick Martinez in this bullpen. It's a good bullpen, unfortunately, but still, I like the matchup with Martinez, and they're not getting any ownership, so it's hard not to have some interest. And I'm just going to say, like, again, this is again, if you're playing 150, you'd have to get a couple San Diego stacks to me. I don't think they're that much different. I just don't. I like Alex Wood. I was an Alex Wood defender. He was a Dodger for years. I had nothing but when he starts to become really, really chalky, I just would try and get away from that. I don't think he's not a lights out guy who's going to fool everybody. And when you've got a bunch of good righties in your lineup, I don't know. It's just a lot of good righties with power. It just seems like a good spot to maybe, if you're going to take if you're not going to play Wood, like I'm just thinking to myself right now, I should probably take some one-offs or maybe not get a full stack, but play a little bit of the cheap Luke Voigt at no ownership. Play a little bit of the Manny Machado at 1% against the lefty. I mean, like that shouldn't happen. I don't think he's really going to be 1%, but he's probably going to be like 5%. Right. These are great plays. And Alex Wood is not unhittable. This is not,
Well, the other thing I would say is that again is Bobby doesn't know everything, but he knows that division pretty well. So whenever you're dealing with San Francisco's and Dodgers and people used to play for San Francisco's and Dodgers, Bobby knows his stuff as far as that goes.
Usually, every now and then I get one wrong, but mostly I think I do.
Well, just because you get it wrong doesn't mean you didn't know it. I mean,
yeah. Gotcha.
Are you playing FanDuel?
Yeah. So yeah, FanDuel I think is very similar with a few different things. You said your FanDuel pitchers are going to be the same guys, you think?
I don't think I wasn't going to play FanDuel, but now I think I might just throw in some MME stuff. But the way I would rank them, yeah, I would have the same issues. In other words, I would I have them all ranked really similarly. So I wouldn't know what to do. So I would probably not play Wood. I'd probably play a little bit lower owned. Is he going to be lower owned, Manoah, over there? I have them both at 20% for 20% over there. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that I think that he will be owned somewhat. But I mean, depending on what you look at, you could look at some other sites that have him way, way, way low owned.
Yeah.
like 7%. At that point, I mean, even just not playing Wood on FanDuel, I think, especially in like the big buy in small field, I think is a good way to go.
I have Bundy at 8% over there. You want to do that?
Yeah, I'm going to play Bundy, and he's been my big one over there right now.
Okay.
Oddly, he's in my big one on both sites, which is definitely a nerve-wracking thing. I mean,
yeah, but that's okay. He's only 5,600, right? I mean, like,
yeah, it's 80-63 on FanDuel, and it's and for all we know, the winning pitcher may not do much tonight. Like, I mean,
yeah,
you could win the slate with a pitcher who gets you like 12 points possibly, unless Manoah, Bundy, Patino, or maybe if Wood has one of his just awesome, 7 innings with like 2 hits kind of a game, but I don't know. That's what it would take for him to get over the.
Just for the hell of it. I wasn't playing FanDuel. I just ran like an MME bill just to see what it would come up with, and it gets me like just a whole heaping ton of Manoah actually.
Yeah. Oh, it does. I like that. I think that's a really good way to go because if Manoah is low owned, you can just take the argument I used to say for basketball sheets. You just win the position. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter if
what it also gives me? It gives me 85% of a particular stack. Of 50 lineups, I get 80% of the New York Mets. Just saying.
Yeah, that's 85% of the Mets, huh?
I don't know what to tell you. You don't have to play it, but that's
I kind of get it. Like,
right,
I don't think it's bad. Nobody's playing them. They go way crazy. I mean, it's really nuts. They have I don't even know if there's going to be a Met that gets like ownership.
I mean, they're good. I mean, they have good hitters.
That's what I'm saying. I'm agreeing with you. Probably is right to take some shots.
All right, I'll MME that. I'll MME that slate. That's all I did. I played 50 lineups in the $4. Something to do. I'm in. So I have to. So what's the big buy-in on FanDuel tonight that you're playing? 333.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, not going for the 1500s and stuff like that yet.
Hey,
Miami, I mentioned Peyton Wavy is saying what I said. One of my first thoughts of the day was about the Miami stack, and yeah, I think it's viable. I think that whole game is viable. I think you're going to get ownership on guys like Soler. I think Jesus Sanchez will have a tiny bit of ownership. But I like that it's low owned. It's a little weird to try to figure out how you want to play it. Like if you want to go for the stack, Aguilar, Soler.
Aguilar still plays, huh?
Yeah. Maybe Stallings, I guess.
Dude, who's still getting opposite field freaking hits is freaking Miguel Cabrera.
Miguel Cabrera, where did that come from?
Well, I was thinking like older guys I didn't think were still playing.
Oh, I was like, is Detroit on the slate? Did I miss something?
No, I know. These guys can still hit.
Yeah. Oh, but you know what? He never lost it. He just lost the absolute power. If he was playing in Colorado those years,
right?
He was hitting 270, or whatever. He'd have been hitting probably 285 with like 35 home runs. You know what I mean? He's hitting all these fly balls to the warning track in Detroit when it's 40 degrees out.
Right.
That go out of any other park. I hear you, Carl. Carl, I'm going to do it. I just got to wait my time. I'll go for the big chance. I usually like to do it after stringing a few wins together. But I will take my chances when I feel like I understand the season a little better than I do, which doesn't mean I don't understand it. It just means that we're all early in the season. There's going to be a bunch of other shows. They're going to talk about, hey, these guys sucks and this guy's great because this. We just got to take a breath and realize pitchers can change their arm angles, hitters change their swings, and we don't really know how to truly trust it until we get a little bit of a sample size at least. Anyways, that's where I'm trying to figure out. You could do the wraparound with Jazz at 5K. That is definitely going to be something nobody does.
That is really funny. Okay, because you said I love the wrap with Jazz at 8. You know what I just went to do? I thought this is how stupid I am. Like I thought that you were betting like a futures bet on the Jazz to win the NBA championship as the 8th seed. So I actually just went to the sports book to see what the NBA odds are, because I wanted to talk about that for a few minutes. I had no idea what you were talking about. So Jazz Chisholm, you mean at the in the Miami stack? All right, fair enough.
Oh, are they talking about the Tuesday NBA here?
No, they weren't. But my head was there for some reason.
No. I was just curious about this because I was looking at, because as you were saying that, I was reading Green Monsters thing, and yeah, that's for the play-in contest. I'm going to be on that one tomorrow, so I definitely will be playing that. That's a 2-gamer that I'm definitely going to take some shots at, because I would actually consider that you could even this might be a max entry type one. I don't think I'll do that, but because it's a little. I don't actually think it's that crazy though, because you know what you're going to get, you know who's playing.
Dude, I think it's gonna be fun. Listen, I have to do this. What's that theory that you have? Like someone that puts it out in the universe, it's gonna have to. You have to like kind of like.
Yeah, it's what's out in the universe.
I'm doing it. I'm playing $5. I'm playing $10 on the Utah Jazz to win the NBA championship at 25 to
1. 25 is too small. It should be
it's terrible. It's horrible.
It should be worse a little bit. Although you could have probably gotten a lot. Yeah, I don't know.
I will be betting just $10.
If the Jazz,
just because you put it,
I'll send you $250.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, for free with no risk.
Yeah. Oh man. Top stack today, to answer Roscoe's question. I think that we're in agreement that Atlanta would be the top stack, but again, to get different, maybe you include some of these other. I think Philly's going to be popular, but I like Atlanta the best by a pretty good amount. I just want to mix it with LA, with San Francisco, Miami, and Tampa. And I'm going to try and use the lowest owned guys in those situations, because I really want to try and get different. It's a small slate that's playing with basically 6 hitters that are going to be so highly owned that trying to stay away from them is important to me. And Atlanta, I don't mind eating some of that chalk with them. I'm going to always try and pick on Washington, and I'm going to always play Atlanta guys at home. This spread, this is a very interesting one. You know what the thing was today? And this is a little shout out to Sabersim here. I'm not going to give out the exact numbers, but Sabersim, quite appropriately, based on what ended up happening, is they have the run projections, but they had a total today that was very different than what I saw. And I actually had to double check it elsewhere. But at Atlanta, it was like 5.1 to 4.2, like other places I was seeing. And now it's up to Atlanta 5.9 almost down to Washington 3.6. And I'm seeing that some other places too. So I just one of those things is a good reminder that, like, there are different, not all these are just automatically, this is what everybody has. Even with Vegas, it's not like that. But I like when things trend in the direction that I already agree with. So I will be playing Atlanta, but I will use them as a secondary stack, or I will use them with the low-owned parts of San Francisco, LA, Miami, and Tampa.
All right,
and
so I'm in the mood. I want to play someone to win the World Series.
Okay.
I'm gonna put the odds up on my screen here.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's get something fun.
I'm gonna put my odds up on my screen, and then we're gonna share my screen, and we're gonna do something. Okay. Hopefully, you guys can read this and see this. This is the DraftKings. This will be in a second. DraftKings odds. I already am seeing something that stands out.
Sheets, can you block this guy and the Discord, because I can't? There's for some reason not letting me. I think it's because you were in the video first. Never mind. I'll do it for YouTube. No,
I got it. Put block use on YouTube or in Restream chat.
Don't worry about it. It's just these people are just these absolute losers.
Well, I blocked them in Restream chat.
Okay. This is the Run Pure. This is the Run Pure contingent. Boy, this is what happens when people don't have any time to do anything. You guys get the hell out of here. Just get out of here. This is ridiculous. Tell the Run Pure guys to go after themselves. I'd have no interest in anybody trying to send people to troll us while our shows are going on. So get the hell out of here.
So I've got two. Yeah, I got two picks here. Actually, I got three. Boy, the Mets are just too short at 12-1. They're just too short. But I'll tell you this: the aforementioned enemies at 30-1 might have to take a few dollars from me, Mr. Bobby. I have to say.
What's that?
The enemies at 30-1. I might have to take
Giants.
Yeah, I might have to try that.
Get out of here, Sheets. You just offended me worse than that guy did.
That's what I'm saying. You gotta block me from block me. I block myself.
Do you mind trying to scroll? I can't see the very bottom, and I want to see if there's a long shot team worth taking.
Longer than that? Okay,
I can't see everybody at the bottom, so I don't know about the odds.
Yeah, that's all I got there. That's the whole thing.
I got to say, you got to give my Dodgers some credit. They may not win it every year, but they are the favorite every year.
They sure are. Sure
they could lose the best, arguably the guy who's going to be the best player in baseball, or one of the best.
I'm fairly sure that San Francisco had the best record in baseball last year. No,
they did,
and they're 30-1.
It does seem a little.
It's a little.
They're missing some of their guys to start the season, but yeah, that seems a little bit steep to me.
What about the Twins? Do they have a shot or no?
I think there's a world where they maybe play themselves into the playoffs, but I don't really love them. I don't really like.
I think the Cubs at 90-1. You like that? No.
No, they're really bad. I'm actually surprised they're not at the bottom. Colorado has a path, but I don't like it really that much either. Yeah, I think these are pretty good numbers. I did like the Seattle last year at the 250-1, which they were the worst odds. This year, I don't think I can get behind it at the 35-1. I think the Angels Sheets are the team I would go for at 35-1.
Two of the top 5 players in baseball, maybe.
Yeah, and not to mention Anthony Rendon, when he was back to playing, was probably the best hitting third baseman in baseball. He's been injured, so then you throw that out there. You get Ohtani already on the mound. You go out and get a couple pitchers near the deadline, and all of a sudden you're in business. I really like that. I like the Angels long shot.
I want to know what odds I can get for San Fran versus the Angels. 8 million to 1.
Well, you could get some good odds for that one.
I can't actually. They probably won't even give me anything on that.
The last time it happened between those two teams, nobody had the Angels that year anyway. So
that's true.
All right, Rody says hit the like. Suarez is definitely viable, is what I said to the Suarez question, guys. Throw in any more questions or thoughts. I'm just seeing if I want to change anything on my lineups here. That will be a fun little NBA slate tomorrow with the 2-gamer. I will definitely cover that. Let's see. I don't feel desperate to change anything, which means I should probably leave it the same. But I do like the idea of throwing in one Suarez and one Inoa. That's the
all right. I'm in. I did 3 teams. I did the chalk. I did Tampa at 17-1, just because they're just geniuses. And I went with the Angels and the Giants. So I did those three. That's what I got.
I like it.
That's what I got. And now I'm going to stop screen sharing.
Noah and Tyler.
What do I get in the NBA? Hold on. The NBA. These are all terrible.
They're all terrible.
Well, you can get the MVP at 35-1.
Wait. Oh, who is the 35-1?
Denver.
Oh God, no, God. I don't know how they could win a series. To be honest with you.
What about Dallas at 35-1?
Maybe they could win one series. Dallas is your team. That's it. 100%.
Dallas.
I was up all night, as I am always on Sunday, listening to the Bill Simmons. They do the Sunday talk about basketball podcast. They was like 2.5 hours long, and they were talking about they did a draft for MVP of the NBA Finals, like a snake draft type of thing.
Ooh.
And Luka, the craziest part is nobody's betting on Dallas to win it, but Luka was 5th on the list because it's really hard to put Chris Paul that high because you want to have Booker that high. You know what I mean? So if you're going to pick Phoenix, who's probably, I'd be very, very surprised if Phoenix is healthy if they're not at least in the conference finals. But if there was a team that could beat them, I think Dallas has some things they could do well against them. So.
And the Jazz you don't like, huh?
You know who? Okay, so I don't like the Jazz. I do think the team that people are sleeping on, but I don't think the odds are, is Memphis. The problem is Memphis, if they play Minnesota's like one team that plays them like really, really tough.
How about Minnesota? 110-1, no?
110 is enticing, but there's a 0% chance that they win the title.
That's the problem.
But then again, there was no chance Atlanta was going to win the title last year, and they sure came kind of close. Like they almost made the finals.
Right.
It is kind of crazy, the 110-1. That's a little bit much. So I could see that being some value there.
But it's just not winning.
Need everybody else to get injured or something.
Denver and Dallas. Those are the two, I think.
Denver, Dallas are the two. I don't understand where this meth thing comes from. They always say this meth stuff to me. Can I talk fast? Is that what it is? I've done like no seriously like interesting hard drugs in my life, and like I get all this shit all the time. Oh man, only from these guys. Coking and all this. I don't even understand. You guys think this is insulting? This is.
I have them blocked from the. But I have them blocked from the. I don't see any of this. I have it blocked.
I see it all on YouTube.
Oh well, then block them from YouTube.
No, yeah, I'm gonna do better than that. I'm gonna get them removed from YouTube. All right.
That's so funny. I don't even have YouTube up ever. I just use the.
I don't either, but I just happened to today because I was trying to get the guy removed.
Okay, I may as well address the paid and wavy thing if you didn't already. You probably did. Any interest in Suarez a pivot off of Wood on FanDuel?
I like it.
Yeah, what I was gonna say is I don't know how pivoty is gonna be. I thought people were gonna play him
a little bit, I think, but I don't think it'll be that high because it is. It's not a fun matchup. Like I think the Mets are gonna be good.
According to Yahoo, a 14-team $50 parlay and all baseball unders on Saturday won $265,000 at BetMGM. Let me listen. I can't prove any of this. I think 80% of those are freaking made up anyway. What can I tell you? That's just my opinion.
Of which ones?
All these things that get posted, like XYZ won 800,000 on this parlay. All these.
I see it. No, they have the tickets out there.
Yeah, I don't know.
I've watched the tickets. I've seen the things. But the thing is, like that one guy, the Marco guy, who's always on this BR betting thing, but he's like just throwing out $1 million bets left and right, and like he's losing $1 million bets like left and right. And I'm just like, okay, I don't, he bet the Clippers. I think he put 50,000 on the Clippers.
Like the DFS screenshotters that lose like 700 slates in a row, and they show up. Woohoo! I finally won.
Yeah. Yep. All right, guys. Well, I don't know if there's a whole bunch more to cover about the baseball slate, but I'm still happy to be here. Again, this is what happens.
I'm not waiting on it. I'm not waiting on any Chris Boucher injury news. I'm not waiting. I don't care if Butler plays tonight.
Yeah.
I don't know if Pukashevsky is starting. You know what? We don't have to see another Portland game or Oklahoma City game or what are these other tank teams like for another 6 months.
Yeah, that's very appealing.
Yes.
I'm really excited about that.
Yeah.
I do want to say that is part of the problem, though. Is like sometimes we just want to have fun. We're like, yeah, we'll stick around. But some of these people come in, and then that's when they come in and they just start going off on us. And I'm like, oh my god! I look back in the chat, and it's like, why are they doing this? I know why they're doing it because these idiots over at RPS or trying to get him to, but it's just so ridiculous to me. Thanks, man. James, I appreciate you, man. I really appreciate that. It's a nice thing to say. Anyway, guys, if you are still here, please hit the like button and let us know any questions. If there's anything you guys want to know about any other ideas from tonight, I'm happy to talk about anything. And who are your guys' picks to win it all? Give us some NBA picks that could win us all the money.
All right.
That's it. This is so relaxing, Sheets. I don't even know what to do with myself.
I'm going to eat dinner.
There you go. Perfect. For once, you get to do it.
And I don't have to bring my phone to dinner. It's amazing.
It's incredible.
It's great.
Yeah.
Donovan Mitchell could be out today. It doesn't matter to me.
Exactly.
Giannis a late questionable. Not going to happen tonight.
Right.
Oh, is any game going to rain out? I didn't even look.
No.
Oh my God!
Wait, hold on. I should not. I'm never going to say.
How am I going to lose?
I'm never going to just say no.
This is so easy. Everybody's playing.
There's not like any even barely any participation.
Dude, I pull up my lineups. They all have like green by their starting. You know what I mean? Like on the DraftKings app. This is like insane. No questionables. No, even the San Francisco's. Oh, you know what? There's a guy that got ruled out that I had in a lineup. Look at that. Who? I didn't know that Garrett Cooper was out. Okay.
Oh.
Hey, with no Garrett Cooper, that ruins my whole approach to this.
I had a plan today, and then Garrett Cooper came along.
Yeah, and then Garrett Cooper out just like ruined everything.
Yeah, he got hurt. He would have been a part of that Miami that I would have gone for. Had I been playing a few more lineups here.
All right.
Well, good luck, everybody. Sheets, have a good night, and hopefully, we'll be in chat, and let's have somebody take down a big one tonight.
Sounds good. Hey, if it's late and there's a sweat, I will be on there.
Yeah. Oh, that's too bad, Stevie. All right, man. Well, good luck, everybody. Sheets, I think you're going to have to shut it down. I'll try to, and we'll see what happens.